The Odyssey, Homer's epic tale of adventure, survival, and homecoming. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into one of the greatest stories ever told, the Odyssey by Homer. If you love epic adventures, cunning heroes, vengeful gods, and monsters that'll give you nightmares, then buckle up, because this Greek mythological masterpiece has it all. I'm Protik, and in this video, we are going to break down the wild journey of Odysseus, explore what makes this tale timeless, and maybe even figure out why it's still so relevant today. So, grab your popcorn, or your ancient Greek wine, if you are fancy, and let's set sail. Oh, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an adventure. Let's get started. Before we jump into the story, let's set the stage. The Odyssey is one of two epic poems attributed to the ancient Greek poet Homer, the other being the Iliad. Scholars think it was composed around 1200 BCE, and it's all about what happens after the Trojan War, which you might know from the Iliad or that Brad Pitt movie, Troy. The Trojan War was this massive, decade-long conflict where the Greeks finally won by sneaking into Troy with that famous wooden horse. Odysseus, our main guy, was the mastermind behind that trick. Pretty clever, right? But here's the catch, winning the war was just the beginning. The Odyssey is about his insane, 10-year journey to get back home to Ithaca. Now, this isn't just a road trip gone wrong. The ancient Greeks believed the gods were super involved in human lives, sometimes helping, sometimes messing things up just for fun. Odysseus? He's got some divine enemies, like Poseidon, the sea god, who's not happy with him. Spoiler alert, that's going to make things really tough. So, let's dive into this epic tale. Alright, picture this, the Trojan War is over, and Odysseus and his crew are ready to sail home to Ithaca, an island in Greece where his wife, Penelope, and son, Telemachus, are waiting. Simple, right? Nope. The journey takes 10 years because, well, everything goes wrong. First stop, the land of the Sirens. Odysseus and his men raid this place, but they get greedy, stick around too long, and the locals fight back. They barely escape. Lesson 1, don't overstay your welcome. Then, they hit the island of the Lotus Eaters. These chill folks offer Odysseus's crew some lotus flowers that make you forget everything and just vibe forever. A few guys eat it, and Odysseus has to drag them back to the ship kicking and screaming. Imagine being that guy, no, man, I just wanna eat flowers and nap. But Odysseus keeps them focused. Then comes one of the most famous parts, the Cyclops. They land on an island and stumble into a cave owned by Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant who's not thrilled about uninvited guests. He traps them and starts eating the crew. Yep, it's gruesome. Odysseus, being the clever dude he is, gets Polyphemus drunk on wine and tells him his name is Nobody. When the Cyclops passes out, Odysseus and his men stab him in the eye with a sharpened stake. Polyphemus screams, "Nobody's attacking me." And his Cyclops buddies just shrug. Genius, right? They escape, but here's the mistake, Odysseus brags and yells his real name as they sail away. Polyphemus prays to his dad, who happens to be Poseidon, and boom, the sea god curses Odysseus to wander the seas. Pride, 1, Odysseus, 0. So, Poseidon's mad, and the journey gets crazier. Next up, Aeolus, the wine god, who gives Odysseus a bag of wines to help him sail home. His crew gets curious, opens it, and, whoosh, a storm blows them way off course. Then they hit the land of the Laestrygonians, giant cannibals who smash most of their ships and eat more of the crew. At this point, Odysseus is probably thinking, why did I sign up for this? But it's not all doom and gloom. He meets Circe, a beautiful sorceress who turns his men into pigs, literal pigs. Odysseus, with some help from the god Hermes, convinces her to change them back. Circe ends up being cool, and they hang out for a year. A year! Imagine Penelope waiting at home while he's chilling with a magical goddess. Anyway, Circe tells him he has to visit the underworld to get advice from the prophet Tiresias. Down there, he chats with dead heroes like Achilles and even sees his mom, who died waiting for him. It's a heavy moment. Back on the sea, things get wilder. His crew sails past the Sirens, those creepy singers who lure sailors to their deaths with irresistible songs. Odysseus ties himself to the mast to listen without jumping overboard, while his men plug their ears with wax. Smart move. Then they face Scylla, a six-headed monster that snatches 6 guys, and Charybdis, a giant whirlpool that could swallow the whole ship. They barely make it through, but the hits keep coming. On the island of the sun god Helios, his starving crew eats sacred cattle, big no-no. Zeus strikes their ship with lightning, and everyone drowns except Odysseus, who washes up on Calypso's island. Calypso's this nymph who falls hard for Odysseus and keeps him on her island for 7 years. She offers him immortality to stay, but Odysseus just wants to go home. After some divine intervention from Athena, who steam Odysseus all the way, Zeus tells Calypso to let him go. He builds a raft and sails off, only for Poseidon to wreck it, because of course he does. Odysseus washes up on Phaeacia, where the locals hear his story, feel bad, and finally get him back to Ithaca. Now, he's home, but it's not over. His palace is full of suitors, rude guys who have been eating his food and hitting on Penelope for years, thinking he's dead. Penelope's been stalling them with tricks, like weaving a shroud and undoing it every night. Odysseus, disguised as a beggar with Athena's help, scopes things out. His son, Telemachus, teams up with him, and they hatch a plan. In an epic showdown, Odysseus reveals himself, strings his old bow, which none of the suitors could, and takes them all out with Telemachus and a couple loyal servants. Bloodbath ensues, but justice is served. He reunites with Penelope after proving it's really him, and peace is restored. What a ride! So, why is the Odyssey still a big deal? First, it's the ultimate survival story. Odysseus faces impossible odds and keeps going. It's about brains over brawn. 2, he's not the strongest guy, but he's the smartest. Themes like loyalty, temptation, and the longing for home hit hard even today. Plus, it's packed with life lessons: don't tick off gods, don't brag too much, and maybe don't eat sacred cows. It's influenced everything: books, movies, even video games. Think, oh brother, where art thou? Or Percy Jackson. The idea of the hero's journey starts here. And honestly, who doesn't love a good monster fight or a clever escape? And that's the Odyssey, a wild, timeless tale of adventure and homecoming. What's your favorite part? The Cyclops? The Sirens? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Greek mythology, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more epic stories. Next time, should we tackle the Iliad or maybe some Norse myths? You decide. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious and keep exploring.